This lesson, we're going to take a look at solving consumer application problems with proportions. So basically, this is our taxes, tips, and discounts. We've already talked about calculating taxes, tips, and discounts by converting the percent to a decimal and then multiplying by the original cost. So here you see an example of that method. So if you want to find the amount of tip that you would leave on your bill if your bill is $35 and you want to leave a 20% tip. So what we first of all do is we convert the percent to a decimal. 20% as a decimal would be 0.2. We would then multiply by the original cost of $35, which would give us a tip of $7. So we would want to leave a $7 tip. If we're asked to find the total including the tip, we then have to add the original amount back in to get a total of $42. You will not always be asked for that, but pay attention because sometimes you will need an extra step in adding that original cost back in. So now that we've learned how to solve proportions, you can also do these types of problems using a proportion. So here's kind of the general format that we follow. When solving these proportions, we look at, if we're trying to find the amount of tax, tip, or discount, we look at the ratio of that to the original cost. In our second fraction, we're looking at the percent of tax, tips, or discount over 100, which would be the total possible percentage. Or possibly you could consider that being the percent of the full original cost. So if I look at this first example, it says the necklace costs $45.99. If the sales tax rate is 8.25%, what is the amount of sales tax? So we're going to set this up using our proportion method. So what we're looking for is the amount of sales tax. So that's going to be our variable, that's going to be our unknown. I'll use an X for that. Our original cost is $45.99. So that would go in the denominator of that fraction. Our second fraction is going to be the percent, which would be 8.25% over a total possible of 100%. Once we get that proportion set up, we're just going to solve this using any of the methods that we've talked about. I'll go ahead and cross multiply for these since that can be applied in any situation. So if I cross multiply here, I have 100 times x. If I cross multiply here, I have $45.99 times 8.25. When we actually go through and multiply that, when we actually simplify that, should get 379.4175. Next step would be getting rid of that 100 that's attached to the x through multiplication. So we're going to go ahead and divide by 100 on both sides. And when we do that, we come up with 3.794175. So that is essentially our answer, but we want to make sure that this answer actually is reasonable, that it makes sense. So here we're talking about money, and we know that money does not go into 6 decimal places. Money is always rounded to the hundredths place because we have dollars and we have cents. So with this, we're going to want to round to the first 2 decimals. And if you see the number after the 9 is a 4, so we're going to stay at our rounded answer of $3.79. That is the amount of sales tax, and that's what the question asked for, so there is no need for an additional step. That is our final answer. Let's take a look at the next example. Example 2, your brother is starting college and has to buy a textbook for $275. If the sales tax rate is 6%, what is the total cost he will have to pay for the book? So we're going to first of all start off by trying to find out what that sales tax amount is going to be. So again, we don't know the amount of sales tax. We know that the original cost is $275. In our second fraction, we know that our rate is 6%, and of course, always going to be out of a total of 100%. I'm going to go ahead and solve this using cross multiplication once again. So we have 100 times x, and then in the other direction, we have 275 times 6. If we simplify both sides, 100x and then 275 times 6 is 1,650. We then solve by dividing by 100 on both sides. We come up with x equal to 16.5. Now we want to write our answer in terms of money. So money, we always have 2 decimal places. So if we think about what would come after that 5, it's always going to be a 0 if there is no other number there. So basically our tax is going to be $16.50. Now, in this problem, it asks for the total cost, which means we're going to have to actually add that original back in. So to find our total, because this is just the sales tax. To find our total, we're going to have to take that $1,650 and we're going to have to add our original cost of $275 to get a total cost for that textbook of $291.50. All right, and then our last example here, a jacket is on sale for 25% off the original price. If the jacket originally cost $42, how much will the jacket cost after the discount? So again, the first step is going to be finding out what that actual amount of discount is. So we'll set it up like we've been doing with the other proportions. We have our amount of discount over our original cost, which is $42. In our second fraction, we have our percent divided by our total possible 100%. As with the other problems, we're going to go ahead and cross multiply and solve. When you simplify those products, you're going to have 100x, and then on the other side, you'll have 1,050. We divide by 100 on both sides, and we come up with an x value of 10.5. Once again, we always want to make sure that our final answer when we're talking about money has 2 decimal places. So we'll go ahead and add that imaginary 0 in at the end so that this is $10.50. If we take a look at the original problem, it asks us to find out how much a jacket will cost after the discount. So this is going to require a second step since this is just the discount. So with taxes and tips, we always add the cost to the end because that's going to be an additional cost on top of what the original cost was of our item. For discounts, you're going to be subtracting since it's on sale. You're going to pay less for that item. So here, to find our total cost, instead of adding, we're going to want to subtract our original cost minus our discount. So we're taking $42 minus $10.50. And we're going to use a sale price or a total final cost of $31.50. All right, so folks, that's just another way to solve these types of problems, like I said, using the skill that we just recently learned. So some of you may find this method a little bit easier. Some of you may prefer converting to decimals and multiplying, but now you have an option. So I want you to go ahead and practice these for a little bit and then kind of decide which method you like better than the other. Please let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.